Do you ever get the feeling that you're not using the right tools for the job that you're doing? I mean, this'll work eventually. What if I told you that instead of using this to make your videos, you could use this? Being fast at editing comes with experience. It comes with knowing the program. You first have to get your bearings. A good way to get started is by just using a mouse. But once you've done that, don't stick with that way of doing things. Sometimes it's good to innovate, find what works for you. When I discovered the alphanumeric keyboard, that to me was like the thing that made me go, aha, I can do this a lot faster and I don't have to keep going back to the trackpad. I've seen people edit when all they use is a little trackpad, and I'm like, dude, no, like you should have something that allows you to speed up the workflow. And software developers keep updating their stuff, so you should do the same.
So that's very nice, but how do I get faster at editing?
Oh, hi there. Well, I guess I'll have to show you then. How are you gonna edit this? You don't even have pockets. Okay, never mind. Forget I asked. Right now, my favorite setup, little guy, is a Wacom tablet, a alphanumeric keyboard, and a secondary monitor. When I was recording these episodes, I realized that I was wrong about the alphanumeric keyboard. In fact, all keyboards that have letters and numbers in them are technically alphanumeric. The rabbit hole goes a little deeper than I anticipated. These are all the keyboard types that exist. I did not know that there were so many types. I once heard somebody say alphanumeric when referring to this style of keyboard, and it just stuck with me, but I realized that that's wrong. I will put a little errata thing on the bottom there whenever that happens. What I mean by alphanumeric, I mean a full alphanumeric keyboard that has all of the keys. Get whatever you can. If you have a smaller keyboard like these laptops right here, it's not gonna have these extra keys. If you have a smaller one and you don't want to get a full keyboard, you can always get one of these little extensions, and I put little stickers on it. Kind of got nostalgic looking at it. You can see where the ones that are worn down. I was using this to emulate the nomenclature of an old school lunchbox. This is what I used when I was doing Dragon Frame. I used to do stop motion, so I would be very far away from the computer and working it with this long cable. These are the kind of things that are used in offices. If the accountants can save money, so can you. The only problem with this, if you were to combine something like this, you would be missing out on two really useful keys if you use After Effects. These guys right here, pgUp and pgDwn, are very useful. I'm gonna walk you through all my keyboard shortcuts that I've used for After Effects and Premiere. This isn't something that you should take as gospel. This is something that you should look into it and see if it works for you. All of my keyboard shortcuts, I've grabbed them from answering the question, what is it that I do a lot of that I could automate? How many things do I have to hit the right click button over and over and over again? How can I economize on that? They're gonna be out of order because I kind of think of them in pairs. 1 and 2, 4 and 5 go together, 6 and 3 go together, 7, 8 go together, and depending on which program it is, I might just sort of group them differently. Don't worry about the fact that it's out of order. It'll make sense because you'll use them in conjunction with each other.
All right, but how am I supposed to program these hotkeys into After Effects and Premiere?
You go over here to keyboard shortcuts. In Premiere, the Premiere Pro tab leads you to keyboard shortcuts, and in After Effects, the Edit tab leads you to keyboard shortcuts. I don't know why, if they're the same company, they don't have things in the same place. It's probably a historical rather than an intentional thing. It's just something you kind of have to remember. If you need to write a post-it note and put it next to your computer, whatever you have to do, it really helps to access these panels often. For any beginners out there who might be feeling overwhelmed by all this stuff, all I have to say is this. Relax, pause this video. I've been putting little hints everywhere that you can find your way around this stuff. I know some of these things might be a little esoteric. Spend some time with it, ask questions, go down to our comment section. We're a really small channel right now, so we have time to answer all of your questions. Take advantage of that. Another thing I recommend is to open up the keyboard shortcuts panel on either of these programs. If you want to know what the default keys are, just click on any key and you'll see the different combinations that it has with Command and with Shift and Alt and all these different things. A lot of other software does not have this much flexibility in terms of giving the user the tools that they need in order to make their experience of using the program unique and custom made to their preferences. Take advantage of the fact that you can customize these things for yourself. I know keyboard shortcuts.
Show me.
So you got all these pre-made shortcuts, but you also get this real estate on the right here. So all of these purple ones I've programmed myself. The gray ones are free. They don't have anything programmed yet. All you have to do is just type in the word and then drag it over here. Let's start with After Effects. The first thing I do is the 0 in the numpad. That just plays your selected work area. Shift and 0 on the numpad, preview numpad on frames. It plays every other frame inside the work area. So by skipping frames, it's a little easier on your computer's render time and speeds up your computer basically. The one thing that sucks about this is that if you have frame by frame animations, you might not see what your animation did because it's skipping frames, and that can be something you have to keep in mind whenever you use this function. 1 on the numpad, I've programmed it to be set layer in point at current time. 2, set layer out point at current time. 4 and 5 are very similar. 4 is trim layer in point to current time, and 5 is trim layer out point to current time. I think of these as going together. Move these layers around to wherever your playhead is without having to zoom in and zoom out on your timeline and waste time trying to find your layers. You don't have to go and find it with the mouse and trim the layers manually and try to hit the exact frame. This makes sure that you have a lot of control over exactly how long these guys are. 3 and 6 kind of go together. 3 on the numpad, I have set comp resolution to low. That's very useful when you want to just preview a movement of something really quick and your computer's getting slow. But if you want to get in there and really look at the details of what you're designing, I hit the 6 button and that sets comp resolution to high. I don't have one for the middle one. I'm like a Sith, I think, in absolutes.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Low and high, I don't really care about the middle points. 7 and 8, I've programmed them the same way in Premiere as in After Effects, so I'm not going to go over them again when we go to Premiere. I'll just mention it real quick. But 7 and 8 are great. What 7 does is it reveals it in Finder. So you click on whatever layer you have, you hit 7, and that opens up the Finder to see where that folder is. That way you can kind of see that folder and see what else is in there. 8 reveals layer source in project. It kind of takes you to wherever in the project you are, wherever that bin is. For example, let's say that you have the 4 Ninja Turtles. You're making a video, and at one point in the video, you're gonna have to drop Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo in different parts of the video. So you download your images from Google, you put them in a folder, you import them into your project, and as you're making the video, you're gonna have to look for that bin for that image, and it takes time to click through your project to find it. But if you find it on the timeline, you hit 8, and then takes you to that folder inside the project, and you can drag whatever other Ninja Turtles are there. Furthermore, let's say that you decide to add some more characters. You want to have Splinter and Shredder and all these things, and you download those to the same folder in your Finder. Well, all you have to do is just hit 8 and then hit 7, and then you drag them in, and that way you can kind of keep adding things. Number 9 is fit. I like this one because usually the comma and the period make the composition zoom in and out, but they don't usually zoom in exactly to the real estate that you have in frame. It'll get a little too close or it'll get a little bit too far, and that's annoying. So I like the 9 just kind of puts you square in there. The asterisk here on the numpad trims the comp to the work area. I love that one. Let's say I made a new composition and it's 15 minutes long, but I only want the composition to be 5 seconds long, and I know that's exactly the in and out points with the B and the N. I just set my in and out points and I just hit that and it just consolidates it, gets rid of all the excess timeline that I don't need. I really like that one.
You have to start with the mouse, just like we said, okay?
I got this. I got this.
Now moving on to Premiere, 3 and 0 are very useful for color correction. Whenever you've selected the color correction tab, 0 previews the color correction and it does it before and after. It disables whatever color correction you've put on a clip. So if you selected a clip and then you select the Lumetri Color tab, you hit 0 and it turns it off and it turns it back on. Related to that is 3. 3 toggles on and off comparison view. 1 on the numpad enables a clip. That's very useful for when I'm turning a clip on and turning it off. If I'm auditioning a couple of takes or I want to have something there in case the director wants to see the different takes, it's very easy to turn it on, turn it off, and flip between 2 takes of the same thing. 2 is paste attributes. First you have to select something on the timeline, copy it, then hit number 2. That automatically pastes whatever attributes of whatever thing that it is that you're using. Let's say that you've already changed the opacity on it, you've moved it around, you've changed the size, you've added a couple effects, you've changed the color correction, and now you want other clips to look like that. All you have to do is copy that clip, and instead of hitting paste, which would paste the entire clip, you select a different clip, you hit 2, it brings up this little menu. You can select or deselect whatever it is that you want to have that new clip inherit. You can select a lot of clips and in one go, give them all the same color correction, give them the same effect, saves you a lot of time. For nests things, so anytime I need to make a nested sequence, I just select whatever many clips I need and I just hit 4 and boom. That is so useful for whenever you're trying to change the duration of a clip, but you also want to stabilize that shot. Premiere doesn't allow you to do that without nesting the sequence. Number 5 is for synchronizing the audio of clips. So different clips with different audios, you can synchronize them. Number 6 toggles on and off the safe margins. You have to click on the program window for this to work, but when you toggle those on and off, you can really see where your texts need to be. If you want to center something, that little grid is very helpful. That kind of goes together with number 9, which shows and hides the rulers, which I use a lot to design things and make sure that my motion design looks good or that my titles are nice and centered. 7 and 8 I've already explained in the After Effects portion, but they basically do the same thing. They reveal something in the project and then they reveal something in the Finder. That way I can have really quick access to files that are in my timeline. And that's it for Premiere. So I hope you learned something good. Did you learn anything fun?
I think I learned something good this time. I learned how to do my hotkeys. Oh!
Buddy. Buddy.
Dearest Esther, I hope this correspondence finds you well. The front has been advancing slowly. At times I fear I might never return to see your lovely face and hear the winds at Creaky Gulch. I sometimes look into the eyes of the enemy, and they remind me of Atticus and Charlotte. The soldiers on the other side, they're just a bushel of scared kids for pity's sake. I pray for your safety and well-being every night, and may I die in my boots before your name departs my mind. Your Amos.
Dear Amos, the twins ask nightly about the whereabouts of their father. May our Lord return you to my arms in one piece. If not, I'll have to marry your brother Silas. Your loving Esther.
Unfortunately, none of these fancy tricks of being a speedy editor are gonna really help you out if you can't find your files in the first place. I have a couple of videos that I've made about that. Go check them out. I made a video about how to name your files, and I made a video about how to organize your files and folders so that you never have to be digging through them at 5 in the morning with a big deadline.